To a lot of people, perception is reality. And it's no different in prison. The only difference is that in prison, whether it's true or not, perception being reality can cost a person the ultimate price, which is their life. In this video, you're going to see a clip of Andre Norman explaining to you what can happen when perception comes reality in a negative way. He's going to explain to you how perception being reality can cost a person their life in prison. Make sure you hit that like and sub button. Let's check it out.
When I got transferred from Massachusetts Corrections to the federal system, they put me in USP Lewisburg, which is one of the oldest, most dangerous prisons in the country. In my first 30 days in Lewisburg, there were over 3 murders. There was like 20 stabbings and too many sexual assaults to count. One guy in the movies, they put a hit on him. He got stabbed in the staircase. And in Lewisburg, there's like a spiral staircase to get to the movie theater. So when they killed him, they're trying to come up the stairs around the spiral staircase with a gurney. Didn't work. He dies. The next day, everybody that was in the movie theater lines up and they have to go to the lieutenant's office. You go in, they ask you a couple questions and you come out. You go in, couple questions, come out. One guy went in there. Everybody's averaging maybe 2 minutes. 2-3 minutes is the max. This guy was in there for like 10 minutes. So everybody in the hall was like, yo, man, he's in there too long. And that guy got murdered the next day for being in the lieutenant's office too long. Sometimes perception becomes reality. Now, was it that he was really telling? Or he didn't know enough to say, hey, man, what he should have done is after 2 minutes say, hey, either lock me up or beat me up, but let me out of this room. He didn't know that he was in there too long. And that people was actually just timing how long he was in there for. And he stayed in there 7 minutes too long and it cost him his life.
What's up, people? Welcome back to the Guardian File. Before I go any further, make sure you hit that like and sub button. Let's talk about it real quick. This is something that it sounds stupid, but it actually does happen. It happens a lot. Obviously, this is why inmates are hesitant to, I guess, hover around the police too much, get too comfortable talking to the police. Don't like communicating with the police, period, when it comes to being in prison, especially at a penitentiary like this man is describing. And sometimes, inmates could be put in a position that they have no control over and can suffer the worst consequence, I guess the best way to put it, which is losing their life, just for something that may be innocent. So to prevent this from happening, a lot of times what'll happen now, and I never understood in the beginning, I didn't understand why. And it was kind of annoying to me until I figured it out, or I was told why. What'll happen now, whenever an inmate is sent to a lieutenant's office, or is just coming down to talk to a correctional officer about something, they'll have a partner with them. Someone that the guard ultimately trusts that's going to hold his fellow inmates to a certain standard. So there won't be any misunderstandings and no one to get hurt and lose their life over something that could possibly be innocent. They'll have a partner come with them. So whatever that inmate says to their officer, lieutenant, or any staff member, it can be verified by that partner. So everyone knows that he's not snitching or telling, whatever you want to call it. There won't be any misunderstandings. Because for the most part, well, there are a lot of snitches that's locked up in prison. We're saying that could be the worst label that you can possibly walk around with at a prison, especially a penitentiary. Now, the first time I was faced with this type of situation was whenever I work a housing unit for the first time, I'll let the inmates know, what my pet peeves are. And basically the rules that I have to, make this 8-hour experience as calm and run as smooth as possible. And, the inmates will want to know your different pet peeves, and too, also so that they won't draw any attention to yourselves. Say, for instance, some officers don't want inmates working out in the open area, because technically they're not supposed to be working out in the housing unit. It's designated to the recreation yard. But the reality of it, that's not going to happen. So they'll ask whether an officer has an issue with them working out, so that when an officer comes out and makes rounds, they won't draw any attention to themselves. Things like that. So you let the inmates know what you expect, your different pet peeves, and if you want this to be a smooth 8 hours without you going to the SHU or me as an officer harassing you, don't do X, Y, and Z. So I did that. There was this one young inmate that didn't seem to understand the rules and stuff that I presented to everyone. So I called him to my office, to talk to him, one-on-one, see if we could gain an understanding. When he came to my office, he came down with a partner, another black inmate from the same card that he's in. I said, sir, I just wanted to talk to this gentleman, one-on-one, so you can go back. So the guy that came down with him turns around and walks away, and the inmate that I called to my office turns around and walks away right along with him. Hold on, sir, I need to talk to you. He comes back, turns around, and then the other guy also comes back and turns around. I said, sir, I just need him. We're going to talk man to man, one-on-one. Man, we can't do it like that. Whenever one of ours talk to the police, one of us has to be right there along with them, to make sure that he's not saying something he doesn't need to be saying. In essence, we're making sure he's not snitching, telling. So it was frustrating, but I respected it. Went along with it, got my message through to him. That was it. A few weeks later, in another housing unit, same thing happened again, except this was a guy that just came in off the bus maybe a few days earlier. So he was still kind of running solo. So he went in the office to talk to the officer, and it might have been about 15 minutes. And it was really over nothing. Lo and behold, the next day he was severely beaten, placed on life support, ended up losing his life. And this was all because the other inmates felt like he might have been saying some things to the officer that he didn't need to be saying. So yes, to prevent lives being lost or someone getting severely hurt, this is what the inmates do. They talk to an officer or police, whatever you want to call them. When they talk to the police, somebody has to actually be there with them to make sure. Because they're not with them, there's no telling what he may be telling the police. And to, make sure there's no loose ends, they'll take care of him as soon as he's done talking to the police. To illustrate to other inmates, this is what's going to happen if you don't play by these rules. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit that like and sub button. Till next time, I'm out.
And too many sexual assaults to count. One guy in the movies, they put a hit on him. He got stabbed in the staircase. And in Lewisburg, there's like a spiral staircase to get to the movie theater. So when they killed him, they're trying to come up the stairs around the spiral staircase with a gurney. Didn't work. He dies. The next day, everybody that was in the movie theater lines up and they have to go to the lieutenant's office. You go in, they ask you a couple questions and you come out. You go in, couple questions, come out. One guy went in there. Everybody's averaging maybe 2 minutes. 2-3 minutes is the max. This guy was in there for like 10 minutes. So everybody in the hall was like, yo, man, he's in there too long. And that guy got murdered the next day for being in the lieutenant's office too long. Sometimes perception becomes reality. Now, was it that he was really telling? Or he didn't know enough to say, hey, man, what he should have done is after 2 minutes say, hey, either lock me up or beat me up, but let me out of this room. He didn't know that he was in there too long. And that people was actually just timing how long he was in there for. And he stayed in there 7 minutes too long. And